Get ready to meet some of the biggest river creatures you have ever seen. These are the giants that completely change what we think lives below the surface. From the terrifying Goliath tigerfish to the mysterious electric eel, we will explore where they live and share cool facts and incredible stories along the way. So grab your gear, pack a snack, and join us as we count down 20 of the most enormous river monsters ever caught. Number 20. Sockeye salmon. Sockeye salmon are remarkable creatures that are truly something to talk about. In fact, the biggest one ever caught was by a fellow named Stan Roach. He was fishing in the Kenai River, Alaska, when he snagged this mammoth fish. It tipped the scales at a hefty 15 pounds 3 ounces. It was 28.5 inches long and had a girth of 21 inches. This monster of a sockeye salmon has maintained its place in the record books as the biggest ever caught. Now, sockeye salmon aren't your everyday fish. If you were to spot one in the ocean, you'd see it's got a blue color tinged with silver. However, when it's spawning time, they transform into this vibrant red color. In terms of size, they usually grow up to 2 feet 9 inches long and weigh somewhere between 5 to 15 pounds, with the larger ones being on par with Stan's record-breaking catch. Also, they have these long serrated gill rakers, typically somewhere between 30 to 40 in number. One easy way to identify them is by their lack of spots on their tail or back, unlike some other types of salmon. Number 19. Mekong catfish. Imagine cruising down the Mekong River, which flows through Southeast Asia and China, and coming face to face with the Mekong giant catfish. This giant catfish has a gray to white body, lacking the usual stripes you might associate with other catfish. But the most striking features are its very low-set eyes and an almost total absence of barbels or whiskers. Plus, it's completely toothless. The Mekong giant catfish holds its place as one of the largest species of freshwater fish in the world. It can grow up to a whopping 3 meters in length and tip the scales at 350 kilograms. What's really astounding is its rapid growth rate. These fish can reach a weight of 150 to 200 kilograms in just 6 years. Back in 2005, the largest Mekong giant catfish ever caught was a female measuring 2.7 meters in length and weighing an impressive 293 kilograms, caught in northern Thailand. This fish was the largest entirely freshwater fish ever recorded until 2022, when a giant freshwater stingray caught in Cambodia took the title. This record-breaking catch was even recognized by the Guinness World Records as the world's largest freshwater fish. Number 18. Beluga sturgeon. Alright, let's talk about the beluga sturgeon. This fish is something really special, as it's the biggest freshwater fish on Earth. The beluga sturgeon is a unique fish with a long body and a semi-cartilaginous skeleton. It's got a tail that's longer on top than the bottom, and a protective skin that's free of scales but has bone-like plates instead. It has a big snout-like mouth that can extend out like a vacuum and 2 pairs of whisker-like barbels near its mouth. This cool creature migrates from saltwater to freshwater when it's time to have babies. Its skin is also covered in fine tooth-like structures, giving it a very distinctive look. As for the record breaker, the biggest beluga sturgeon ever caught was a real giant. She was caught in the Volga Delta back in 1827, and she tipped the scales at an incredible 1,571 kilograms and measured a massive 7.2 meters long. To this day, there's been no other sturgeon recorded that's bigger than that. Number 17. Goliath tigerfish. Have you heard about the monstrous fish, the Goliath tigerfish? Yeah, it's that humongous, toothy predator that calls the Congo River Basin and Lake Tanganyika in Africa its home. Its teeth are something out of a nightmare. They can actually reach a length of up to 2.5 centimeters. The teeth even have these convenient little grooves in its jaws where they fit perfectly. The record for the biggest Goliath tigerfish caught so far was a whopping 4.9 feet long and 154 pounds. This incredible catch was made by the biologist and TV personality Jeremy Wade back in 2010, right there in the Congo River. He managed to land the fish using a live catfish as bait, and he had to wrestle with it for a whole 20 minutes. But don't worry, he let the big guy go after taking a few pictures and measurements. Now let's talk about what this fish looks like. Picture this: a gleaming silver body streaked with black and highlighted by red fins. The mouth is ginormous, filled with 32 piranha-like teeth. It's got amazing eyesight too. Even in murky waters, it can spot its prey. But here's the kicker: this fish is super fast. It can swim at speeds up to 37 miles per hour, and it doesn't just stay in the water. It's been known to leap out and catch unsuspecting birds or bats. In terms of size, it can reach lengths up to 4.9 feet and weigh as much as 154 pounds. Number 16. Red-tailed catfish. In the Amazon, Orinoco, and Essequibo River basins of South America, we have the spectacular red-tailed catfish. It's a big, colorful creature with a dark gray to black body adorned with a bold white stripe running along its midline. The tail, as well as the dorsal, pelvic, and anal fins, are all painted in vibrant shades of red or orange. Plus, it sports long, sensitive whiskers which are perfect for sniffing out a meal. It's a fish of the night, preferring to spend its days lying still at the bottom of the river. Once the sun sets, the red-tailed catfish transforms into an active and rather aggressive predator. It's also pretty territorial, so other fish would do well to steer clear of its patch. It can grow up to 6 feet long and weigh up to 180 pounds. The world's largest one was captured by Gilberto Fernandez in Brazil's Amazon River back in 2010. His prize fish weighed a hefty 123 pounds 7 ounces and measured 4.62 feet long. Not much is known about the details of this epic catch, but we do know that Fernandez used a fiberglass Sportex rod to reel in this magnificent fish. Now it's time for today's topic. A veteran fisherman hauling nets near Sado Island, Japan, believed he had snagged a submerged log after his vessel nearly stopped moving against the current. When the tangled net finally surfaced, the crew froze at the sight of a bizarre, heavily armored creature with broad fins, a flattened head, and rows of jagged teeth unlike any cataloged fish. In July 2026, marine biologists from Niigata University examined the specimen after it was transported alive in a seawater tank. DNA sequencing failed to match any known marine reptile, fish, or amphibian recorded in international databases. The fisherman later admitted he would never return to commercial fishing, insisting the animal briefly opened its eyes and attempted to crawl across the deck before sedatives took effect. Authorities quietly transferred the creature to a secure research facility, refusing to reveal its exact classification. No official updates have been released since, fueling extraordinary speculation across Japan. Number 15. Arapaima. Arapaima gigas is no ordinary fish. It's also known as the pirarucu, or paish. It can grow nearly 3 meters long and can weigh up to 220 kilograms. But what truly sets the arapaima apart from other fish is its air bladder. This neat little organ allows the arapaima to breathe air, and it's this ability that lets it venture into oxygen-poor waters where other fish can't survive. This crafty adaptation gives it a real edge in the survival stakes. Now let's talk about some record-breaking arapaimas. The largest one ever officially recorded was caught in Brazil in 1981 by a fisherman named João Pereira de Souza. This gigantic creature tipped the scales at an incredible 440 pounds and measured 9 feet in length. However, it's worth noting that there's a story about an even bigger arapaima. This one was supposedly caught by Richard Hart on a fly rod in the Riwa River in Guyana in 2015. According to Hart, this monstrous arapaima weighed 415 pounds 8 ounces, was 13 feet long, and had a girth of over 7 feet. But because he didn't have a certified scale or witnesses to verify his claim, this catch was not officially recognized by the International Game Fish Association as a world record. Number 14. Green anaconda. Let's turn our attention to one of the world's largest snakes, the green anaconda. Back in 2016, construction workers in Brazil stumbled upon an absolutely massive specimen. This giant snake was estimated to be about 33 feet long and weighed a hefty 880 pounds. However, when it comes to official records, things are a bit more murky. Some say the largest green anaconda on record measured 29 feet long and tipped the scales at 550 pounds. Green anacondas are native to the forests, savannas, and wetlands of Colombia and Brazil, as well as the vast Amazon basin. If you're wondering what these enormous snakes eat, well, their diet includes all sorts of large animals. We're talking rodents, deer, fish, peccaries, capybaras, tapirs, turtles, birds, dogs, sheep, and even aquatic reptiles like caiman. They've even been known to prey on jaguars. Aesthetically, green anacondas are a sight to behold. Their bodies are covered in a dark olive-brown color adorned with large alternating black spots running down their backs. Along their sides you'll find smaller oval spots with yellow centers. Interestingly, their eyes and noses sit on top of their large heads. This unique feature allows them to breathe and scope out prey even when submerged in water. Number 13. Freshwater stingray. Now we are journeying into the rivers and estuaries of Southeast Asia and Borneo to talk about the giant freshwater stingray. This majestic creature has a thin oval pectoral fin disc that's a little longer than it is wide. It sports an elongated snout with a wide base and a sharply pointed tip that stretches beyond the disc. What's really striking about this creature, though, is its tail. It's thin and whip, like with 1 or 2 serrated stinging spines close to the base. These spines can grow up to a whopping 38 centimeters long and carry powerful venom. Now, when it comes to size, this is the largest freshwater fish and the largest stingray in the world, growing up to 2.2 meters across and weighing up to 300 kilograms. On June 13, 2022, in Cambodia's stretch of the Mekong River, the largest freshwater fish ever recorded was caught. This gargantuan stingray measured a stunning 4 meters from snout to tail and tipped the scales at a colossal 300 kilograms. The team measured the ray, fitted it with an acoustic tag to learn more about its behavior, and then released it back into the wild. Number 12. Nile perch. Let's talk about the Nile perch, an imposing freshwater fish native to many rivers and lakes across Africa. Its body boasts a shimmering silver hue tinged with a touch of blue. But what makes this fish instantly recognizable are its dark black eyes, each encircled by a vivid yellow outer ring. Couple this with a large mouth, a body that's elongated, a lower jaw that sticks out a bit, and a rounded tail with 2 dorsal fins, and you've got one unforgettable fish. Imagine casting your line into the murky depths, knowing that somewhere below, a silent predator with those piercing yellow ringed eyes is watching your every move. The sheer size of this creature is enough to make any angler's heart race, for it rules its underwater realm with a prehistoric presence that commands respect. Locals tell tales of monstrous perch capsizing small boats or stealing entire catches right off the line, turning a peaceful fishing trip into a battle of wills. When one of these giants strikes, it does so with explosive fury, its protruding lower jaw clamping down on prey with relentless force, leaving little chance for escape. For generations, African fishers have revered and feared this fish, passing down stories of titanic struggles that lasted hours under the blazing sun. To hook a Nile perch is not just about skill, it is about pitting your endurance against a creature that has perfected the art of survival in vast, ancient waters. And when you finally feel that heavy, determined pull on your rod, you know you are no longer the hunter, you are simply the one being tested. Nile perch can grow up to a staggering 2 meters in length and can weigh as much as 200 kilograms. The world record for the biggest Nile perch ever caught with a rod and reel was set on December 22, 2000, when Californian angler William Toth reeled in a whopping 104.32 kilogram fish in Egypt's Lake Nasser. He was trolling a Rapala fire tiger lure when he hooked this record breaker. The fish measured an impressive 1.83 meters in length and had a girth of 1.32 meters. Number 11. Freshwater sawfish. Moving on, we have a fascinating creature called the freshwater sawfish. It's not uncommon for a freshwater sawfish to measure up to 7.5 meters in length, and they can weigh as much as 600 kilograms. What sets the freshwater sawfish apart from other fish is its long, narrow, flattened snout lined with sharp teeth on both sides. It looks just like a saw, hence the name. This saw is not just for show. It helps these fish detect and capture their prey, which primarily consists of fish and crustaceans, and it's also used as a form of self-defense. Speaking of extraordinary catches, the biggest freshwater sawfish ever caught was a female that measured a whopping 7 meters long and weighed around 500 kilograms. This catch was made in West Africa in 2003 by a research team led by Dr. Ralph Thiel of the University of Hamburg. After being measured and photographed, she was tagged and released back into the water. Another notable catch was a male freshwater sawfish in Lake Nicaragua in 1976. This one measured 6.7 meters in length and weighed an estimated 600 kilograms by the team led by Dr. Jacques Cousteau. Both of the sawfish were released back after being tagged. Number 10. Vampire fish payara. The vampire fish, also popularly known as the payara, is quite the fascinating specimen from the animal kingdom. This one-of-a-kind fish calls the Amazon basin of South America home, and there are quite a few things that make it incredibly intriguing. First off, the appearance of the payara is something to talk about. It's got a body that's built for speed, sleek and streamlined with shiny silver scales. It even has a dark spot located right behind the upper opercle, the technical term for the flap that shields the gills. But what really stands out, literally, are the 2 long fangs sprouting from its lower jaw. We're talking about teeth that can grow up to 6 inches long. When the payara shuts its mouth, these fangs slot neatly into 2 holes in its upper jaw. The payara's forked tail and large eyes are also worth noting. They help it spot and chase down prey in murky waters. When it comes to size, the payara can reach up to 3 feet long and tip the scales at 35 pounds when living in the wild. In captivity, though, they're usually a bit smaller. The record for the biggest payara ever caught is held by a man named Larry Larson, who reeled in a whopping 3.5-foot, 9.4-pound specimen in Venezuela back in 1996. Number 9. Giant eels. Alright, let's chat about the fantastic world of giant electric eels. These are a special breed of fish hailing from South America, and they belong to the Gymnotidae family. These eels have a pretty shocking ability. They can generate electricity and use it to stun their prey. Believe it or not, these fish can zap their dinner with shocks up to a whopping 860 volts. In terms of their behavior, giant electric eels are night owls, and they have to breathe air. They might not have the best eyesight, but they make up for it with electrolocation. Their diet mainly consists of fish, and they utilize their electricity not just for hunting, but also for navigating, communicating, and self-defense. Now, the biggest electric eel ever caught is the Electrophorus volti, and was found in the Amazon rainforest by a research team led by a zoologist named C. David DeSantana in 2019. This eel is a whopping 2.5 meters long and can deliver an electric shock that reaches an astounding 860 volts. That's more than triple the voltage of a standard plug socket, making it the most powerful electric shock produced by any animal we know of. This creature is a type of knife fish, and it was named in honor of Alessandro Volta. Number 8. Bull sharks. Bull sharks are definitely something special in the ocean. They're not the biggest, but they're certainly not small either. These sharks have a robust body with lengthy pectoral fins, small eyes, and a snout that's rather short and blunt. Their scales are a cool gray on top, transitioning to white underneath, and the tips of their fins are typically dark. The fangs you're imagining? Well, the biggest ones were found in a female bull shark caught in the Bahamas in 2012, measuring a staggering 4 meters in length and tipping the scales at a hefty 694 kilograms. When it comes to mealtime, bull sharks aren't too picky. They're strong hunters, using their powerful jaws and teeth to crush hard shells and bones, and are capable of consuming up to 10% of their body weight in a single meal. The title of biggest bull shark ever caught in a river goes to a hefty 4 meters Zambezi shark, a regional name for bull sharks in Africa. It was caught on the Breed River in South Africa in September 2020 as part of a research project by the South African Shark Conservancy. After catching and tagging the shark for tracking and research purposes, it was released back into the wild. Number 7. Lake trout. So what does a lake trout look like? Well, they're the biggest members of the char family. The heaviest lake trout on record weighed just shy of 102 pounds, and it was netted. As for length, it was a substantial 50 inches. Typically, lake trout aren't that big, but it's not uncommon to find ones weighing between 15 and 40 pounds. On average, they measure between 24 and 36 inches in length. These fish have a greenish-gray color and are adorned with pale spots. Let's discuss the biggest lake trout ever caught by a rod and reel. This record was set in 1995 when angler Lloyd Bull hooked a 72-pounder in Great Bear Lake. The fish was a massive 59 inches long. However, there have been larger catches. The biggest lake trout ever landed, caught in a net, weighed in at an incredible 102 pounds. It was caught in Lake Athabasca in Saskatchewan, Canada. A more recent contender for the world record is a 73-pound lake trout caught by Scott Anlow in a secret lake in Colorado in May 2023. He was fishing with his son Hunter at the time. This potential record breaker measured 47 inches long. After weighing and measuring the fish and snapping a few pictures, they returned the fish to the water. Number 6. European Wels catfish. European Wels catfish is no small fry. In fact, it's one of the biggest freshwater fish you'll find in Europe and Western Asia. It has a long, scaleless body, and its color varies from a mottled greenish to blackish tone with a pale belly and dark fins. It has a long anal fin stretching to the caudal fin and a small dorsal fin that sits quite far forward. Now, the lifespan of a Wels catfish is pretty remarkable. A 70-year-old specimen was captured in Sweden not so long ago. Wels catfish are also known to reach extraordinary sizes, possibly over 3 meters in length and weighing over 200 kilograms, even though such sizes have been rare and unproven in the last century. There are reports from the 19th century mentioning Wels catfish of this size. The biggest Wels catfish caught on record weighed in at 297 pounds 9 ounces. It was caught by an angler named Attila Zetterli in Italy's River Po in March 2010. But the records might need updating, as there have been recent reports of even bigger specimens. In fact, in June 2023, an angler named Alessandro Biancardi managed to reel in a massive 9.4-foot-long catfish from the River Po, which could potentially break the previous record by a whole 1.6 inches. Number 5. Alligator gar. When you think about freshwater fish in North America, few species command as much attention as the alligator gar. As the largest member of the gar family, these creatures are truly impressive. These behemoths can grow up to 10 feet in length and weigh a whopping 350 pounds. One of the coolest things about alligator gar is their spiral valve intestine, which is something you'd usually find in the digestive system of sharks. This feature, combined with their ability to breathe both air and water, makes them highly adaptable. The largest one ever caught on a rod and reel was by a Texas native and World War II veteran named Bill Valverde back in 1951 in the Rio Grande River. His catch was an awe-inspiring 279-pound monster. This particular alligator gar measured a lengthy 7 feet 11 inches and had a girth of 44 inches. It had 104 teeth, and its scales were so hard that they broke Bill's knife when he tried to cut them off. However, there are some stories too. For instance, in 2011, a group of bow fishers shot a 327-pound alligator gar in Mississippi. This gargantuan fish measured 8 feet 5 inches long. Number 4. White sturgeon. Next up we have the white sturgeon, also known by its scientific name as Accipenser transmontanus. Typically, male white sturgeons can reach lengths of 10 to 12 feet. The ladies, however, usually outgrow the males, achieving lengths of 15 to 20 feet. The weight of these underwater giants can range significantly, with some tipping the scales at around 100 pounds and others reaching a hefty 1,500 pounds. Now, here's a little story about a record-breaking catch. Back in 2012, a massive white sturgeon was caught in the Fraser River in British Columbia, Canada. The lucky fisherman who landed this catch was a man named Joey Pilata. The behemoth he reeled in measured an astonishing 11 feet 7 inches in length and weighed a staggering 1,100 pounds. Now that's a big fish. This particular catch was verified by the Fraser River Sturgeon Conservation Society and smashed the previous record by over 100 pounds. After catching it, Pilata quickly measured the fish, snapped some photos for proof, and then released the gigantic white sturgeon back into the river, allowing it to continue on its journey. Number 3. Giant barb. If you're a fan of freshwater fishing, you might be familiar with the giant barb, an enormous fish that hails from the carp family. This behemoth holds the title as the world's largest species of cyprinid and is such a source of pride for Cambodia that they've designated it as their national fish. When it comes to physical attributes, the giant barb really stands out. Its head is quite large, and it lacks the whisker-like barbels that some other fish species have. It also sports thick, blubbery lips. The scales on the giant barb are noteworthy too, with each scale nearly the size of a human palm. Picture yourself wading in the warm, tea-colored waters of Southeast Asia, knowing that just beneath the surface glides a fish so massive it could dwarf a grown man. Local fishers speak in hushed voices about the phantom-like giant barb, a creature that rarely shows itself, yet commands the deepest pools with ancient authority. To hook one is to enter a silent struggle where sheer muscle and stubborn will collide, the fish using its bulky frame to drive deep into submerged logs and tangled roots. Anglers have spent entire days fighting just one individual, only to have it snap their line with a single contemptuous flick of its powerful tail. But giant barb does not rush. It pulls with a steady, grinding force that slowly drains your strength, as if it knows time is always on its side. Villagers along the Mekong River still recount the legend of a colossal barb that evaded nets for decades, becoming more myth than fish to those who sought it. And when you finally glimpse its massive scale-armored flank rolling in the murky depths, you realize you are staring into the face of a living river god that has witnessed centuries of change. This fish is typically a brownish-gray color on its back and sides, while its belly is white. The giant barb is really quite the heavyweight. They can grow up to 3 meters in length and can weigh in at a staggering 300 kilograms. As of 2019, the record weight for a giant barb caught was 105 kilograms, which was a catch made in Thailand, beating the previous record by a solid 5 kilograms. Currently, the maximum reported length of a giant barb is about 1.8 meters. Number 2. Giant salamanders. Giant salamanders are large amphibians belonging to the Cryptobranchidae family. They are something special because they are considered living fossils. The reason behind this fascinating title is that they belong to a lineage that's been around for an awe-inspiring 170 million years. When it comes to size, these creatures are no slouch. They've rightfully earned the title of the largest living amphibians in the world. They can reach lengths of up to 6 feet. That's nearly as tall as a human adult, and can tip the scales at up to 130 pounds. So, who takes the crown for the biggest of the big? Well, the record for the biggest giant salamander ever caught goes to a Chinese giant salamander. This enormous creature measured a staggering 5.9 feet long and weighed an impressive 130 pounds. It was caught way back in the 1920s in southern China. But don't worry, you can still see it today. It's preserved at the Natural History Museum in London. However, there's a rumor of an even bigger giant salamander out there. The story goes that back in 2015, a giant salamander was found alive in Chongqing, China. The reports claim that it weighed a hefty 114 pounds and was over 200 years old. Number 1. Queensland grouper. If you've ever gone scuba diving in the tropical waters of the Indo-West Pacific, you may have encountered the Queensland grouper, a mammoth fish that belongs to the family Serranidae. This family also includes sea bases and anthias, also known by names like giant grouper, brindle grouper, and mottled brown sea bass. The Queensland grouper is one of the largest reef-dwelling fish in the world. It can reach a length of 270 centimeters and a weight of 400 kilograms. The preferred habitats of the Queensland grouper are quite diverse. They can be found in coral reefs, rocky areas, estuaries, and mangroves at depths of 10 to 100 meters, though some have been spotted up to 600 meters deep. These fish are solitary and territorial, often seen hovering in mid-water or resting motionless on the substrate. As they age, they tend to become shyer and more elusive. One of the largest Queensland groupers ever caught in a river weighed in at 250 kilograms and measured 240 centimeters. This impressive catch was made by angler Vic Hislop in 1983 at the mouth of the Fitzroy River in Queensland. Another large catch was a 150-kilogram fish speared by diver Rick Tripp in 2015 in the Adelaide River in the Northern Territory. It was a startling sight, with a large bite mark on its tail, likely from a crocodile. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.